Welcome to Red and Blue Smoke Week 10 edition. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me, as always, the paterfamilias of the LB's Meat Market family, Mr. Greg Jones. Greg, good morning. How are we doing this Week 10 Wednesday?
Yeah, the smoke is back. It is ready.
It is.
We're gonna have to use a lot of smoke on all the products that we're talking about this.
Smoke is better. I love smokiness to virtually anything. Food, bourbon,
lungs.
Yeah. I'll tell you this quick sidebar. I did some chili this week and switched it up.
All right. So what meat did you do?
Okay, so here we go. So might be a hot take, or whatever. This is our show, and like what you like. I'm a huge fan of white chicken chili, because I like just like the extra. There's a couple extra veggies thrown in there, but so this I did a traditional chili, but I added bacon and Italian sausage in there as well.
Wow, that sounds really good. Yeah,
and
my mom's the same way.
Super smoky.
She's a chicken chili, soup fan. So
it's just
I like it.
I don't know. So
anything's good with cornbread.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what it is. I think just a little bit of the creamy aspect of it. Like, I don't know how your mom does it, but I throw a little cream cheese, a little half and half in there to kind of thicken it up, balance it out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's also just easy. We've talked about Crockpotting on here before. I mean, it's like if I was going to do a Crockpot dinner for the family, like it's 10:02 a.m. local here, I would have already had it in there, put it on low for 6 to 8 hours. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, by 4:30, 5 o'clock, you just take it out and plate it, and boom, you're good. But yeah, I had never done. So this was kind of not a one pan meal. Typically like one pan, you just throw everything in there and that's it. But I used the same pan for all of the protein. So I did the bacon first. Just, basically broke it down into little bits, put it on a little plate of, like paper towels, let it dry.
Next time do a pork belly instead of bacon.
Okay.
Maybe cube up some pork belly.
Just better fat.
Yeah, I mean, it's
render a little better.
Yeah, it gives you a little better fat content, and it gives you a little bit more texture, because bacon. Yeah, I mean, kind of.
And so the way this recipe called for, I bet it would be tremendous, because so basically you pull out the bacon, but you leave the grease, and then you do the ground beef in the grease, plate that or put that in the crock pot, and then you do the Italian sausage last, all in that same bacon grease with the ground beef. So lot of flavors happening. But yeah, it had some smokiness to it. But yeah, I feel like any kind of barbecue, whether it's pork, brisket, ribs, whatever. I mean, you're familiar with the commissary in Germantown. They have their saying, smoke is our sauce, which I think is a fantastic slogan. But we're obviously talking Texas A&M this week. Aggies coming to town, 11 a.m. kick on ESPN. Ole Miss now number 10 in the country, as the first college football playoff rankings came out on Tuesday. Ole Miss is a top 10 ball club heading into Saturday's game. So with it being Texas A&M, we're going to talk some TexMex. We're going to talk some brisket. So let's get into the game first, and then we'll get into our grub talk in the second segment. But
do you agree with the college playoff, the first one? I mean, that was kind of a random one. Ohio State. I mean, they have, I don't know.
Let me pull it up, because last night was a big night.
I mean, I never think you would take Georgia out of number one until they've been beaten. So that's just how I feel about that, regardless of who Ohio State's played and beaten and whatnot. I just, gotta have a little respect there.
I don't know if that's just them kind of trying to be edgy.
Poking the Bears, so Kirby and the boys will be really upset when we beat Texas A&M. And okay, so y'all want us to
Ole
Miss? That's great.
I don't know. Like I go back and forth on, well, Georgia's undefeated and they're 2-time champs and they're number one until someone knocks them off. Because I don't know. I think you have to find like a hybrid of week to week rankings. How have you, what have you done for me lately type viewpoint of, okay, you won and you looked great in week 2, but it's week 10. How are you looking now? Georgia's.
I think one of the reasons why they do is to get clicks. I mean, why not?
100%. 100%.
How many clicks are you going to get versus, saying, Georgia's number one, and so yeah, I think it's all a marketing issue.
Yeah, the people that feed at the trough of ESPN and Fox and what have you, this just gives people something to talk about going into Saturday. And so it's just something to argue about. But yeah, I probably would have still put Georgia at 1. I mean, they kind of reminded everyone last week how good they can be with how they just dismantled Florida. But we're going to learn a lot about Georgia in the coming weeks. They got a tough 3-week stretch coming up.
Yeah, I mean they've had a soft schedule throughout the week. I wouldn't say soft, but
it's pretty
for
soft.
SEC. For SEC, yes, that's very soft.
Well, looking at strength of schedule, they're behind Ole Miss. I did see a graphic yesterday that somebody put out before the playoff rankings of kind of where everybody kind of like best playoff resumes according to strength of record. Ohio State 1, Florida State 2, Washington 3, Alabama 4, Ole Miss 5, Texas 6, Georgia 7. So Georgia's behind 3 one-loss teams when you're going by strength of record. So I don't know. I mean, I think they got the rankings pretty good, but I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. Like, this is just the first one.
I mean, yeah, for sure. That could be. So I think I saw a tweet or an X. I don't know what to call it anymore. I saw an X this morning that the first ever college playoff that came out, Ole Miss and Mississippi State were 2 and 3. I think I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, so the first ever playoff rankings
that came out.
Yeah, that was 2014. Mississippi State was 1 though, were they not?
Maybe. God, what a weird time.
I want to say they were 1. Ole Miss was 4. I cannot remember.
No, I think they were. Yeah, I don't know if they had them matched up, but Ole Miss and Mississippi State were on the first side of the bracket, and I think it was like, golly, I can't remember the other two.
So I found the article on SECSports.com, and at the top above, like the byline, it says 3,290 days ago. So yeah, it was. Mississippi State and Florida State were at the top, and then Auburn, Ole Miss.
Wow, 3 SEC teams. Wow.
Yeah. So, long time ago, though.
That's a good trivia question,
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of people that would probably miss it because people forget. Yeah, Mississippi State 1, Florida State 2. Yeah, I'm pulling up old articles now, but yeah,
is that forever when Cam ago. Was Cam at Auburn at the time?
No, 2014. That was Nick Marshall.
Because everybody remembers him.
Yeah, and then 2014, that was Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott, Bo Wallace. So yeah, that was a long time ago.
Good times. That's what it was. Good times.
But all right, so this weekend, we don't have to talk a lot about Vandy. It was a pretty, dominant performance. It was, I did not know that AJ Swan was not going to play. I was down on the field pregame. He wasn't even dressed out. So that definitely affected my pick. I thought that if he was playing, they would get a late score cover. He did not, in fact, play. So, Vandy was pretty helpless. The quarterback situation there is pretty dire right now. The kid they put in at the end, though, 6'7", like 250. That dude
is he going to play on the basketball team? I mean, is he switching over to basketball? Wow.
Dude, he might be like the new KJ Jefferson in the SEC. Like that dude was a monster.
I will say his first play he did like truck somebody. I mean, well, he didn't. He literally almost trucked one guy on his first play. He was excited.
He was massive. He looked like it looked like a dude. Yeah, he looked like a guy that they just got off the basketball team. They're like, hey, just put pads on and come out and throw the ball in pregame. Yeah, Ole Miss was pretty methodical. Defense played outstanding. They have continued their run of a string of games of just being lights out up front. The secondary played well. I was
still haven't put 4 quarters together. I think still haven't put 4 quarters together.
Yeah, and I think kind of the narrative right now for Ole Miss, and the offense has played great throughout the season, but yeah, not a complete game yet. Defense, same thing, like not a complete game, still a couple lapses, but that's hard to do week in, week out. But I'll say this. I was talking to some friends earlier today, and it was kind of like one of those, hey, Ole Miss may not be like an outstanding team. They're a top 10 team per the rankings. I just think if you're trying to label them like, are they really good? Are they good? Are they excellent? I think they're just a team that just knows how to win, and they just find different ways to win every week.
Well, that's what good teams do.
It's exactly right. You just good teams. You win on the road. You find ways to win, and I think Ole Miss can do it in different ways. I think the combination. David Brandt made a good point on our show yesterday. Quinshon Judkins and the defense are both getting stronger as the year goes on, and that's what you need. You need run game and defense. Those two things. If you've got those two things figured out, you're going to be all right. So, what's kind of your sense on this game? What's your feel on the A&M game?
Well, I mean, honestly, I feel really good about it, honestly. So I think that's scary. So I just think, at the first of the year, we had some offensive line issues, and the defense wasn't playing really good. But I mean, we're in week 10 here. So, I mean, this is a different ball team, versus that game in Tulane. So I honestly, I mean, I feel like we should just run the ball. I know that I don't know what kind of game. I mean, I get worried about it because I listened to Lane's press conference the other day, and I love how he's just straight up taking jabs at Jimbo, and it's great. Like everybody in the world knows that who Lane's taking jabs at. And I mean, I just hope we just roll them up and beat them by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I know they're talented across the board. They've got plenty of 5 stars, which is, I think it's cool to have 5 stars, but you got to have good 5 stars if you're going to, be a top 5 team. So with that being said, I just feel like the Revs are just playing something really good. And I really wish it was a night game. I feel like we play a little bit better at night. I don't know. I don't know if that's a jinx or not, but no, I mean, I think we just get the job done. I mean, the defense is playing really good. I mean, they're playing, and that our front four with Ivy and how do you say it? Anuku?
Isaac Ukwu, yeah.
Ukwu. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not really good on my German, so. But anyway, no, I just feel like we should win. I mean, they've got the midnight yell over there by my hotel. So I was thinking about creeping over there and seeing what that's all about. Would you go if you had the opportunity? I mean, I'm walking distance. Like I'm serious.
If you want a good laugh mixed in with some cringiness that'll make your skin crawl, then go do it. I went last year, so me and a couple buddies went to the game last year, and we were out. We're all in our mid-30s. We're all dads, so we're out at the bar, at 8:30. We're getting out there early and beating the crowd. Got to be strategic with your dad vibes. And
yeah, when that sun goes down, you turn into a pumpkin.
So we're out. We're having some beer. We had some really good Tex-Mex when we got into town. And so we're, kicking around the idea of, what do we want to do? Do we want to go to a really nice dinner? And so my buddy was like, why don't we go to Midnight Yell? And initially I was like, no, I don't care about that. Like, that's dumb. Like, what? And he's like, when are we ever going to be back here? Like, we're probably never going to come back to College Station. So I was like, all right. So I was outnumbered. I was voted outnumbered 2-1. So I was like, all right, well, let's just go check it out. Dude, it was the weirdest. So I don't know if they've always done it this way.
Yeah, I mean.
So I think they've added this weird, cringy stand-up routine to it, because I think they always did the yell, like they have all the chants and the whatever. They've done that forever. I think they've added this like stand-up routine thing where they make fun of the school they're playing, and it's really bad, but it was the strangest thing I've ever been to. Like,
yeah,
not just students, like grown-ups, like grown men and women in there doing all the chants and the hand signals.
Well, I mean, you take that ring to your grave now. So I mean, once you're an Aggie, you die an Aggie. So I mean, like, I'm trying to tiptoe around talking about Texas A&M. I've got a friend she's an AM graduate, so I'm trying not to say anything wrong, because she might bring the wrath with that gold ring on me.
Yeah, it was but now, like, Kyle Field is as advertised. Like, that environment, that stadium it's a palace. Like, it was awesome. But yeah, go over there if you want to have a good laugh. I think there are probably going to be some interjections. I think some Ole Miss fraternities are going to infiltrate and probably try to mess it up. I don't know. I'm with you though. Like, I think looking at it on paper, Ole Miss is the better team. They've got the better quarterback, the better coach. And I think collectively as an offensive unit, they have better playmakers and more ways to attack you. Front seven wise, A&M has the edge. They're more talented. But look, you mentioned it. Like, the defensive line has been great. Like, Pete Golding and Randall Joyner have done a fantastic job. With the transfers they brought in, they have an experienced group of guys, and then they've got some young talent. I'll be really curious if Xavier Harris is a go this week. He's been out the last 2 weeks with an injury. They need him in there. He's a huge body. But yeah, I mean, Jared Ivey, Cedric Johnson, Ukwu, Akilo Stone, JJ Pegues, Joshua Harris, Stephen Wynn. Like, it's a deep group.
Do you have a favorite player on this team right now?
Oh,
because
man,
I mean, it seems like they're all mixed together and they've got a good thing going. I'm going to go offensively. I'm going to do Dayton Wade. I like Dayton Wade.
Yeah. I was going to say offensively, Dayton Wade. Like, he's my guy. Probably one of my favorite interviews ever.
Oh man, I literally can watch that interview and just be like, for some strange reason, it just makes me smile and makes my day better and just makes me enjoy living in Oxford a little bit more. But like, just man, I just wish everybody had that kid's attitude. I love him to death.
The world would be a better place if everyone had the mindset that Dayton Wade had. Or has. Yeah, when I talked to him last year before the season started, yeah, I mean, just like, you couldn't help but just smile talking to him. Like, just bubbly, energetic, good mood. Like, I mean, and it's carried over into his play. I mean, the receivers this year, the only Power 5 program with 3 guys with 500 or more yards receiving. He's been a huge weapon with Zachary Franklin battling, coming back from that knee scope. Trey Harris is 100% now. He looks great. And then Jordan Watkins, 2 plates in his hand, no problem. He's out there making a difference.
What year is Dayton Wade?
Oh, man. I want to say...
Surely he can stick around. Surely we can get him an NIL deal at LB's. Just stick around another year.
Looking at the roster, he's
we probably need to get some stakes in him.
He's a senior, but I believe he has a COVID year, so he can come back.
Oh, good. Don't you get 2 extra years if it was a COVID year? Isn't there a guy that's been like playing college football for like 8 years?
Probably. There's probably some folks out there.
It's the quarterback from
JT
Northern
Daniels,
Illinois. Huh?
Are you talking about?
The guy from Northern. He's got I think he has a mullet.
Okay. I know JT Daniels has been around for a while. He's transferred Started at SC, went to West Virginia. Or no, SC, Georgia, West Virginia. Now he's at Rice.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess you can get a red shirt. You can get a medical red shirt. You can get a COVID year. I mean, there's a lot of ways to stick around and not have to get a real job. I mean, Will Rogers has been around for what, 5 years, 6 years?
And he's probably going to probably come back next year because of the injury, right?
He might be able to. I think he played the 4 games.
I mean, who wouldn't want a 25-year-old quarterback?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Dayton Wade's up there as favorites. Defensively, I don't know. I'd probably say.
I think DeAndre Prince would be a cool guy to hang out with.
He's a quiet dude. He doesn't talk a lot. Kind of soft spoken. I don't know, man. I'd probably have to go with my guy, Suntarian Perkins. He's a hoot to talk to. He was fun to interview the couple times I got to chat with him, and I don't know, man. There's a lot of
that definitely helps when you have a guy like that. Just real laid back and just I think it helps the team out a lot. I know it's kind of turned into a business. I mean, it is a business. I mean, it really is. But you got to take your job seriously, and I don't know. I'm big fans of people that invest in themselves and don't want to go to the transfer portal and and work hard. I feel like that Dayton Wade's kind of done that this year.
I think there's a ton of likable dudes on this team this year. It's been a true collective effort this season with how the defense has really shown up. They're top 5 in the conference, or top 5 in the nation in sacks, top 10 in tackles for loss. They're up there, I believe, in the top 3 in defensive efficiency this year in the SEC. They've just been night and day better than a year ago. You can't say enough about what Pete Golding's done with that unit. But yeah, just going back to the A&M game, I'm thinking like a 7 to 10 point win. I think A&M's defensive unit is good enough to keep the game somewhat close. It might be similar to Auburn or Arkansas, where I don't really think it's ever in doubt. I think it's very evident throughout the game that Ole Miss is the better team and they're winning the football game. But I think just the depth of talent on A&M's roster on both sides will keep it close. But just going back to, for me, it's trenches and quarterback play when looking at games. And the trenches, let's say, it could be a wash because their defensive line is so good. But Dart's been playing great, and Max Johnson just doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about is DJ Durkin. I mean, he coached with Kiffin, and he knows the offense, and I'm pretty sure Lane's done some adjustments. So he's
going to have something cooked up for him
for sure. I just feel like just try to run the ball, and if you can run the ball, that's great. But I feel like the passing game should be wide open this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I think their secondary's been solid, but I just think that Ole Miss is going to be creative in how they attack. And Caden Priestcorn, 100%. He's
I think he has a big game. I think he has a big game this weekend.
That's your hot take. Game. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's almost established that he's almost a kind of a blocking tight end, but he can really get down the field. Like he gets down the field so awkwardly, and he's just like, he reminds me of somebody that just gets like almost kind of like Matt Jones. Was it? Yeah, Matt Jones for Arkansas.
At Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of him.
Just galloping around.
Just gallops around.
Yeah, he had some couple big catches in the Auburn game. I think he's going to start to be a little bit more of a focal point in the offense because attack that middle of the field. I'm going to go talking about offensive players. I'm going to say Ulysses Bentley has a big game. I think they're going to really hone in on Judkins. He shredded him last year, over 200 yards, couple touchdowns. I think Bentley's going to be a great change of pace guy. He's going to have a couple big runs, maybe get involved in the passing game. But yeah, I'm thinking like Ole Miss wins something like 31-20, 31-17.
I'll take 1-0.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be like a 20-14 game late. Maybe Ole Miss scores a couple, maybe scores, gets a field goal, puts it away. I just don't think the way Jimbo has just not really let Petrino cook. I feel like they're going to do enough to shoot themselves in the foot. And I think the defense is going to shut them down because, again, Max Johnson just doesn't scare you. He can't move.
He's not a real
throwing the ball.
I mean, like the quarterbacks we've had trouble with, obviously Jaden Daniels, because he could get out of the pocket and move. Unlike I wouldn't say we had any problems with KJ, but I mean we've had problems with him over the years. But Max Johnson doesn't come off as to any of those quarterbacks. So I mean, if we can just make tackles, it's all about making those tackles and not getting them on the ground. The extra yards after contact is what you really need to concentrate on in the early in the game. If we're tackling good and we're in the game and we're running the ball good, I mean, I feel like we can put 4 quarters together and for once, but just you gotta go through the options with the defense and everything, and who knows, man. But I feel like we should run them out of the stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not like trying to drink the Kool-Aid on that now. I mean, I just feel like the defense has proved me wrong, and the offense is going to offense. But yeah, I feel like if you can get the passing game, little out routes with you Bentley, and those open up. It will open up those middle runs that Judkins is so good at. So who knows? I really think they need to start working that back shoulder a little bit more. I think that's there all day with Trey Harris.
Oh, yeah, he's a big target. Challenge him early. Go after him early. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to get into Grub Talk, talk some brisket, talk some TexMex, and see where it takes us with food. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Are you looking at cutting your health insurance premiums by as much as 20 to 30%? Are you aging into Medicare and need help finding a Medicare supplement plan? Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group at 601-953-8449. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, and he can help you with any of your health insurance needs. From regular health plans to life insurance to dental and vision and even Medicare, he has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today.
We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. Take advantage of weekly blackjack tournaments and a brand new collection of high-end games for a chance at real cash rewards. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in your hands. And the best part is you don't even need to wear pants. Your adventure at the MyBookie Casino begins today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code TOC for Talk of Champions, TOC. That's promo code TOC to secure yourself a sweet deposit bonus. And that's not all, because their revamped loyalty program ensures that you'll be showered with rewards, including free spins, cashback offers, and a host of exclusive VIP perks. The more you play, the more you win. Play anytime, anywhere with the MyBookie Casino. And make sure to check out MyBookie for all your gaming needs at www.mybookie.ag. That's www.mybookie.ag.
Cooler temperatures are right around the corner, and as I like to say, it's the perfect time to play a round of golf. And if you're looking for a premier golf course in Northwest Mississippi or the Memphis, Tennessee area, go to Cherokee Valley Golf Club in Olive Branch, 15 minutes from the Memphis International Airport. With those cooler temps, you might want to stay warm and comfortable on the course this fall. Go in the clubhouse and check out their new selection of outerwear from Travis Matthew and FootJoy, including FootJoy's new lightweight hoodie. This 18-hole par 72 course includes 4 sets of tees to accommodate all players, and has 11 lakes, 52 bunkers, and the wide Zoysia fairways and extra-large champion Bermuda greens and clean roughs make for an excellent opportunity every single time to post a number. If you need a premier golf experience in the Mid-South, go to Cherokee Valley Golf Club. call them at 662-893-4444 or check them out, olivebranchgolf.com. And we are back here on Red and Blue Smoke with Greg Jones of LB's Meat Market. Real quick, before we get into grub talk, if you haven't been to LB's, if it's your first time, if you haven't been in a while, better get there early, 11 a.m. kick. So you need to get there Thursday, Friday, get your protein, all of that and more. They got plate lunches now. Make sure you go get you a quick bite. Probably going to be your best bet for lunch this weekend in Oxford because everywhere is going to be slammed. So people sleep on the plate lunches.
Saturday, what we're going to do on Saturday, we'll rock 1 to 6 on Saturday. I usually just go to the first half of the game and then open the store up whenever it's 11 o'clock game. We usually do 1 to 6 on Saturday. So we'll be open 1 to 6 on Saturday. So, and my mom said, don't run out of lane trains. This is the weekend. You don't run out of lane trains, Greg. So we'll have plenty of lane trains. We usually do those on Sunday, 2 for $20. So get out of town and get a couple lane trains for the road for $20. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you some steaks, get you some burgers, sausage, all the fixins and more at LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue across from Kroger. Go over there and check it out. Be sure, don't forget, check that cooler. Great deals over there as well. All right, so how are you doing a brisket? If you're smoking a brisket, kind of what's your nuts and bolts, easy X amount of steps to smoking a good brisket. If folks are tuning in here and they've never done it, they want to do it. What's your take on that?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. I mean, I've got a friend that likes to inject his brisket. So there's a route you can go there. There's nothing wrong with it. Correct. There's nothing wrong with injecting your brisket. I feel like whenever you're injecting your brisket, you're just wanting to make sure, there's flavors in there that you like. So it is what it is. Your injection can be whatever you want it to be. It can be a Cajun blend or whatnot, but I usually just do kind of butter and Hoover sauce. If you're going to inject it, that's just me. I like butter and Hoover sauce. And so what I usually like to do is I like to take the whole packer. A lot of people, whenever they come in and ask for brisket, they just want the flat piece because they're just wanting that flat piece to where they can smoke. And that's about a 5 to 6 pound piece. So that's what your traditional brisket, where you get your sliced pieces. So with that being said, it's easier to get the whole. It's easier and cheaper to get the whole packer brisket because you've got the point where you can make burn ends on the point. What I like to do on the point is I like to smoke them. Just trim it up, lightly trim, because I mean, of course you want to trim some of the fat off, but honestly, fat is flavor. So you're not, the only time you want to trim stuff off is when you've already smoked it, and and it's easier, for you to identify that fat to trim off, and you don't lose flavor, and because the fat gives it a lot of, texture and moistness. So what I usually like to do is not like to trim a lot of fat. Some people brine, some people just, kosher salt, big thick layer of kosher salt and cracked black pepper. That's what I like to do. I mean, I like to traditionally just like the taste of a good, of flavor of beef. So with that being said, just lightly trim the fat and then put it on the smoker. So the point, you can do 2 different things with the point. What I like to do with the point is I like to make chuck wagon chili with the point. So the point is really fatty, and you got some really good meats in it. So you can just lightly cut that point off and just cut it up into cubes and throw it in a pan, and you can make your chili with brisket in pieces, or you can just make your burn ends. It's whatever you want to do. I prefer, sometimes I like to do is cut that point off and put it in a crock pot with a bunch of vegetables and, kind of make a crock pot out of it. It's real fatty. And then once you cut that point off, then you have the other point that's at 100 degrees, the flat. And then that's when you wrap your flat and then, get it to 200 degrees. I hate to say this, but it is what it is. But I'm not the biggest fan of brisket because I prefer to have beef at 130 degrees, 135. I'm more of a tri-tip fan, but that's just me. But if you're trying to do that double smoked brisket, I mean, just smoke that whole piece, cut the point off, do your burnt ends with the point or that chuck wagon chili, and then wrap up that flat, and then just inject that meat thermometer until it gets to about. I mean, I'm thinking 200. What is it? 200 degrees, 180. Just depends on what you want. Yeah. So it's all a matter of preference. It's what I like to do is whenever it gets to about 150 degrees, put some more Hoover sauce and some butter, and then wrap it back up because I don't know, that smoked butter and Hoover sauce together just makes I don't know. I like that combo a lot.
Let's go to Tex-Mex. Growing up in the South, I obviously grew up on Americanized Mexican food. The La Haciendas, the El Portons, the El Sombreros of the world, and they have their place. I love a good beef taco and enchilada combo with rice and beans. It's efficient. It's tried and true. I mean, if I'm in a good place, I can sit down and get a combo and finish it in about 7 or 8 minutes. It fills you up. Yeah. You're not too full. It hits the spot. It's great. Get some white queso. Tex-Mex though, a little more traditional, a little more, dare I say, authentic. And then the queso's yellow. What's kind of your take on Tex-Mex? Do you like it, dislike it? What are your favorites? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I compare Tex-Mex to food trucks, like authentic stuff like that. That's how I kind of feel about Tex-Mex. Like
not the worst take.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you want a really good taco, I mean, obviously, Taco Bell's got a line, out to University Avenue because they're selling nacho fries. But if you want a really good taco, there's I think it's over there at the 4-Way by Oxford Pond. They've got a really authentic, taco. So I don't know. I prefer, the Tex-Mex. But I mean, who invented P5? Did some random chick invented P5? Is that how that came about?
I don't know, but it's damn good.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. I like. I'm a big fan of the pork. The stewed pork. I think they do a really good job on that stewed pork. I like that on the taco. But vegetable. But as far as Tex-Mex, man. Yeah, what your little order that you had, I mean, that's pretty money. I mean, if you can really load up at the Mexican, you can get like, I don't know, a big meal, and then you want to take a nap for 2 hours. But I think that your little meal is perfect for the Tex-Mex option.
If you go to the state of Texas, you can pretty much go anywhere and get you, if they have it, some real Texas chili con carne.
Oh yeah.
That's some legit stuff. I mean, it's brawny, like it just beef and chilies. It's tough to beat. The jokes about, who's going to be the guy that gets the fajitas at Chili's or on the border or whatever. And they bring it out, and it's a spectacle. But if you get some good steak fajitas at a Tex-Mex place, it's going to be absolutely legit. We mentioned the queso being yellow. I don't care. I like all queso. I'm not gonna be picky there. I feel like Tex-Mex refried beans are a little better. Like
they're not as soupy. They're not as soupy. I mean, I don't know.
Like the Americanized, it's almost like paste. But
yeah, I'm not a fan. I like a good bean.
Yeah, I love beans. Shout out to my boy Bob.
My favorite thing to order from a Tex-Mex is they usually have just a random burrito with French fries, and it's just
California style.
Yeah, so just tell them to put that French fries in the burrito.
Yeah,
instead of on the plate, and
then money. Tacos, man. Like they're gonna do tacos well. Breakfast tacos. They're gonna hard fry those shells to where they're kind of puffed out a little bit. A little bit better crunch. just an actual tortilla shell or an actual tortilla that's been, fried and it's handmade. I don't know, man. It has its place. Like, again, I love some basic
and
Mexican
and the sauces
food.
are different. The sauces hit. They're not mid for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna be a little more thin, and they're gonna have probably
you can actually see like the blended up bell pepper and like you can actually see what's going on instead. I mean that's a big no. Whenever I go into a Mexican restaurant and they have like real thin salsa, do you like thin salsa or do you like chunky salsa?
I'd probably lean thin just because I think it's a little more authentic. It's a little more homemade.
Okay, so what about just a little chunk in there? Like not just like
I don't mind. I don't mind a little chunk at all.
I'm just not a big fan of tomato soup salsa. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I just went off subject on salsa, but it's a big deal. I like seeing the peppers and everything blended up in the product. That means somebody took care of it.
Fresh salsa that's been homemade is tough to beat. Like basically like a good pico is solid.
Do you like? Are you a guac guy? Do you like the guac dip?
I do like guac. Like if it's,
I like the chunky guac, like the big, like the homemade where they chop up the onions and like all that on the cilantro.
I like a good table side guac. There's a good franchise spot here in Nashville that's Bar Taco. They have some really good guac.
Big fan of the guac.
All right. We take our final break here. On the other side, we're going to pick Week 10 games in the SEC. So hang tight. We'll be right back with some winners. This podcast also comes to you thanks to Bluff City Advisory Group, Memphis's leading team of finance professionals who can provide advanced assistance with financial planning, pension, and qualified plan support, and business and estate planning strategies as well. Former Ole Miss Rebel and founding partner Ben Still, along with his elite-level customer service team, make it their goal to help you meet the ongoing demands of your financial needs. Learn about this and more at bluffcityadvisory.com.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Final segment here on Red and Blue Smoke with Greg Jones of LB's Meat Market. All right, we got our picks in for Ole Miss A&M. I think we both like Ole Miss to cover. The line's down to 3.5, wherever you get your, whichever book you're looking at. I believe it's kind of settled at 3 right now. I can hit a quick refresh on Vegas Insider and see what we got. Yesterday, there were some that still had it at 4.5. Mostly sitting at 3 everywhere else. So FanDuel at the moment looks like it's got it at 4.5. But yeah, I think we both have Ole Miss covering there. All right, let's get into some SEC on SEC matchups. We're not going to talk about UConn, Tennessee. 11 a.m. ESPN2, Arkansas at Florida. I don't have to spend a lot of time on this one, Greg. I like Florida big here. I think Arkansas's quit.
Yeah. What's the line?
Double check here. I believe it's like 6.5. Yeah, you can get it at 6.5. You can get it at 6. I feel like Florida just puts it on them. I think they're going to be a little frustrated after last week. And again, like I said, Arkansas's quit.
Well, I mean, there is a new offensive coordinator, so I don't know if that helps or not in Arkansas. But who knows, man? It wasn't Arkansas on a bye week last week.
They were, so they'll be fresh.
Okay, I'm gonna take Arkansas. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it's just not the right fit with coordinators. Maybe a new coordinator is a new
some fresh blood, some fresh blood in there.
I'm not a Florida. I just think they're bad. They're bad. I don't like Napier for some strange reason. I think Florida's going to hire Dabo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, right. Did you hear that? Did you hear his little rant?
Yeah.
Was it Jimmy from Spartanburg or whatever? He's like, listen, no, it
was somebody from Spartanburg.
He goes, listen here,
Tyler.
I've had enough of hearing of you.
I don't know how the radio didn't cut the caller off. They just let him go at Dabo. I was surprised they didn't cut him off.
That was great. I think. I don't know, man. It is what it's what you've done in for me now kind of world. But man, whew.
Yeah, I still don't believe in Napier. I still think Florida's pretty average. Now that win over Tennessee is not looking as good as it did initially.
I think they hurt at quarterback. I'm just.
Mertz is fine. I don't think he's great. I still think Florida gets the win here just because I think Arkansas is bad. All right, moving on. Big one at 2:30 CBS. There's three big games this week. We already talked about A&M Ole Miss. Let's get into the second one. Number 12 Missouri at number 2 Georgia, 2:30 CBS. Georgia favored by 15.5. Some books have it at 16.5. That's a big number for me. I kind of lean covering. I think Georgia's going to cover the number here. I think that they're kind of shifting into Death Star mode where they just start plowing through people. And I think Missouri makes it fun early. Their offense is a lot of fun. I really like Luther Burden. He's as advertised at receiver. And Brady Cook's been pretty damn good this year. I just don't know if they have the horses defensively to hold up for 4 quarters. And I think Georgia puts this one away, kind of similar to what they did last week against Florida.
Is this at Georgia?
It is in Athens, yes, Sanford Stadium.
Yeah, because I know Missouri gave them a little run last year, and actually were up on them at fourth quarter, right? I would think.
Yeah, they were that was almost a watch your ass game for Georgia last year.
Man, like you were saying, it's just hard. I think they kind of poked the bear this week whenever they put Ohio State over them. So, yeah. I like
Kirby will have them motivated for sure.
Oh, man. Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Maybe a little disrespectful for me not to say this is one of the big games of the weekend, but Auburn traveling to Nashville on West End at 3 p.m. SEC Network. Greg, I don't know how this has happened, but Auburn is a 12.5, some books 13.5 point favorite over Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt's not good, but is Auburn scoring that much here?
Oof. Man, I hope nobody watches this game. Seriously, if you're watching this game, you need to look up that 800 number. You need to look up that 800 number. Yeah, look up that 800 number, whatever it is. But yeah, definitely need that 800 number on speed dial if you're watching Auburn at Vanderbilt this weekend. Yeah, I just don't think Auburn can score that many points. Honestly, I might be 10-7. So I think Vandy gets it done at home. How about that?
They haven't fixed quarterback in 2 weeks. And I didn't watch any of their game last week against Mississippi State. I was shocked that Mississippi State played as bad as they did. I picked State to win outright. I think Auburn is still really bad and has issues. I don't know. I think Vandy hangs around here. I think Clark Lee has done enough to where they're not going to quit. To me, it's too early, and I think that the players like him, and I don't think it's too far-fetched to say the players at Auburn, maybe not all of them are on board with Freeze. He's thrown a couple of them under the bus over the last couple of weeks. I don't know. I got a sneaky feeling that Vandy hangs around and makes this one uncomfortable for Freeze and the Tigers.
I'm anxious to see how many transfers Auburn has at the end of the year. I think that's what people need to start looking at is incoming and outcoming like NIL transfers and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like if Ole Miss can somehow, keep this core that they've got going and, add spots here and there and, because that's why Georgia's, I mean, like Kirby made it known. He's like, look, I think the COVID year they brought in 40 guys and 38 of the 40 are still there. So, I mean, when you have that core, that's pretty solid.
All right. Speaking of Mississippi State, let's go down to Starkville. Night game. Kentucky travels to Davis Wade, 6:30 SEC Network. This one's weird to me. I really don't know how I feel about this one. Vegas, it seems to know something because it's only a 3.5-point line. I feel like Kentucky gets the win, but I don't think it's comfortable at all. I'm laying the points, but I think State's going to do some weird shit and hang around.
God, I mean, I thought Kentucky played pretty decent against Tennessee last week. I think Tennessee's a lot better team than Mississippi State. Those bells are probably going to be ringing, but hopefully Kentucky can just lean on them. I feel like it's a typical Kentucky game here. They're going to win ugly, and they're going to win by 7 points probably.
Yeah.
I mean, this easily can be 14 to 10. Like this could be like old school, like 1950 like score.
Yeah. Arnett's going to have them fired up. It's a night game. They have the artificial noisemakers, so it'll be loud. Say what you want about Mississippi State. I do think, even though there's a collection of fans that are starting to grovel a little bit about firing Arnett, their fans are going to show up, especially for a night game. They're going to be there, and they'll be loud.
Well, wait, doesn't gun season start this weekend?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. Maybe it does.
I don't know. Maybe you always got to look up that stat for Mississippi State. If it's like opening season of dove season or hunting season, the crowd's usually not that active.
Yeah, I like Kentucky to win it. I think it'll be close. So
no, I just feel like Mississippi State's in the same situation that Ole Miss was in. You had to hire somebody like Matt Luke, to get you through, and hopefully their ads, looking at potential candidates to come in to get the program a little on a level. But I just don't think Arnett's the answer long term. They just gotta.
Yeah, I always felt like he was the bridge to whoever was next. Just the unfortunate situation they were in because of
very unfortunate. But I feel like Leach would have been there for at least five more years.
I think he was retiring there.
Yeah,
he had it in a good spot. He was recruiting to that offense. Yeah, I don't know. I think he gets one more year, but it just kind of depends on, honestly, with that fan base and that administration. If they go in the tank, get whipped in the Egg Bowl, and you've got Ole Miss potentially 11-1, 10-2. That's going to put a lot of heat on them to make something happen. So I think it would be stupid to base it on that, but that's what they're going to do.
I would love to give Mississippi State some friendly advice. Why don't wouldn't this be awesome? What if they hired Cliff Kingsbury?
He's a Leach guy.
It'd be awesome. I mean, not for. I mean,
I think Cliff's doing all right in LA, just getting paid to hang out on the sideline and call plays.
I know. I feel like it would, with Lane and Ole Miss, and they're two like banner guys. I think it'd be a cool mix.
He would be awfully handsome, regardless of wearing the maroon.
He would definitely have the best options in Starkville for sure.
He'd be a hit at media days.
A total of 10. I think they got more than 10 good-looking women over there.
The big one this weekend, 6:45. You got a double dip on CBS, doubleheader. Number 14 LSU travels to number 8 Alabama. I said this when I was talking to Greg yesterday, or excuse me, talking to David. I got LSU winning outright.
I love LSU in this situation.
I think they win outright. I don't know. Don't ask me how.
They've got a better quarterback. I mean, their defense is almost like, comparable to. I mean, I don't know. I feel like their defense is at least good enough to stop. I don't know. I like the over, I think.
Let's see what the total is. Efforting. The total in this game is 59.5.
I kind of like that over. That's kind of my hunch. But yeah, if I feel like if LSU is going to win the game, they have to hit the over.
Yeah, they're going to want it to be. They want it to be a shootout for sure.
It would mix it up huge if LSU can somehow, some way go to Tuscaloosa and win.
I mean, you're getting into that. You're getting into that that 3-way tie, but Ole Miss is going to need some help.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to stick to yourself and take care of it. I mean, it would be great for LSU to pull this off, but I mean, we got A&M this week, and they're pretty talented on each side of the ball. We got to take care of our own business before we got to worry about tie breaks.
All right. Yeah, just go and win. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just go and win.
So we can't win 1-0. I'll take 2-0. How about that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just get you a win and just keep going. All right. That is going to do it for Red and Blue Smoke Week 10 edition. Thanks to Greg, as always, for joining. Thank you to you, the listener, for tuning in, and appreciate the sponsors making this show possible. We'll have more coverage of Ole Miss A&M at omspirit.com. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and check out the YouTube at OM Spirit. So for Greg over there, I'm Zach. This has been Red and Blue Smoke. Until next week, we out.